Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're going to be talking about the one, the only beloved Kaspa. Now, I know some of you guys are mentally exhausted, right? You guys are mentally exhausted from the prices, from the manipulation. But look, I am here to tell you that in a way, all of this doesn't matter in the end. Now, you might be confused a little bit. You might be thinking, what the hell are you saying? But look, right, I'm going to explain things very, very simply. First and foremost, I want to show you Dogecoin. Now, you might be thinking, why the hell are you showing me Dogecoin when this is a Caspa video? And this is just purely for perspective, okay? Look, right? Dogecoin, when you take it to market cap, this thing used to sit around a couple hundred million, right? Let's just say mainly between 200 million and 400 million market cap. This thing peaked, what, 82 billion plus in 2021, last altcoin season. Uh, why am I telling you this? Because, ladies and gentlemen, when altcoin season comes and the crypto adoption comes, these are the types of gains you'll be seeing across many, many cryptos. Now, the ratios might not always be this insane, but you will be commonly seeing 10, 20, 30, up to 50x's pretty commonly, right? In its peak, you will. You'll see coins go from 100 million market cap to like 5 billion market cap on the low end, 5 to 10 billion. You see coins that are at 2 billion market cap go to 40 billion market cap. You will see this continuously. You remember, I showed you something like Doge, something literally meaningless, okay? Meaningless. Something that literally has inflation, okay? It takes more money now to get to the all-time highs than it did a couple years ago. And something like CAS is going to see a lot of adoption over the next few years. And I'm trying to show you the mindset of investors and whales of why they just continuously buy cryptos and things like Caspa at low prices, and they don't care if things take some time to unfold. Look, when we take the top of the range, let's just say to this relevant bottom, I'm gonna use this as the relevant bottom because we did dip over here. When we go and look at something, actually, no, we will do this first so we can see, right, if you have been buying within this range from the 0 to the 1, anything below the 0.50, you are buying at a discounted price within this range. Okay, now let's flip this around very quickly. So we have the 0 at the bottom. Let's say Caspa will hit $1, which, by the way, is more than realistic. I mean, more than realistic, right? I know people don't want to hear that at that point because we are very, very low in terms of price. But when we go to something like Caspa, right? If we were to 10x from here, that would be 15 billion market cap. That would be roughly 56 cents. So, roughly 25 billion market cap is all it takes for that $1, more or less, right? That is more than realistic. That is more than realistic. So we are going to be using a very, very underwhelming price target just so a lot of people can get this mentality on board, right? If you were looking to be buying, in this type of range, even over the last 2 years, right, and you believe Caspa can hit $1, then you should be chilling because this is how investors, this is how institutions, this is how banks, this is how longer term traders see the markets. Okay. They see this as a general range and they are just looking to be buying in this general range. Now, this might sound crazy because at one point your portfolio may be down a lot, right? If you bought Caspa even at like somewhere near the literal high and it dipped down, right? You were down 95% at one point. Right now, you're down roughly 70%. Okay. I get it. It doesn't look pretty, but the upside is super, super nice. Even if you bought near the literal tops and Caspa got to $1, you're still looking at upwards of 5x your money. If you buy Caspa right now, and even if it were to go down a little bit, right, you would be looking at upwards of 18x your money. And it's like one of those things, right? You buy Caspa now, okay, whatever. There's a huge dip, let's say for 60% for some reason. It looks scary. Your $1,000, let's say, is now at $400. But then, like I said, the upside is your $1,000 can look almost like $20,000 in the near future. Okay, so you have to just realize that yes, it sometimes looks scary in the short term, but in terms of the long term, you are fine. Okay, you are fine. You're going to be more than fine. And Caspa is one of those coins. I tell you guys, I truly, truly do sleep very, very peacefully knowing I am buying and holding this crypto. I said it before we even dipped. Man, if I ever had a chance to buy Kaspa at 1 cent, I would. And guess what? I couldn't because the exchanges that I was personally that I had money ready on, they didn't allow me to buy it. And I was very frustrated because I could have bought in at 1.5 to 2 cents fairly easily. And even then just made a quick roughly 3x in just a matter of like 30 minutes. Right. So very, very frustrating. But I am looking to be overall accumulating Kaspa, a lot more now. Especially that prices are really, really cheap. Even if we just take somewhere like the from this range to this range, right? I'm really looking to be buying anywhere below the red line. Like we are a little bit below the red line. I'm looking for these like discounted prices, like in this zone. Generally speaking, like in this zone, I'm looking to be really accumulating because I want those insane ratios for when we do hit a dollar. Like I said, a dollar should be more than realistic. Multiple cryptos hit 20 billion, 25, 30 billion, 40 billion last cycle, right? And we had those superstars that hit, 70, 80, 100 billion market cap. We had so many cryptos in the mid 20s of billions of market cap, so many cryptos in the high teens, 8 like 15 to 19 billion market cap. And we got to remember there's more and more adoption, there's more and more money, and you just have to think like a investor, right? If you do truly believe Caspa, it can go upwards of, let's say, $3 this cycle, which we talked about, is kind of realistic, right? It is possible. It's not the most realistic, but it is possible. But let's say you truly do have that conviction, right? Let's say that is your personal conviction. Look how small this chart is, right? Literally, look how small this chart is. You are buying below the 0.88%. You are buying at a massive discount zone. You are looking to be making insane gains, even if you were to buy now or a little bit higher, like you would be looking at roughly 60x your money. Okay. So this is the thing, people, right? You have to look a little bit more long term. I know it's tough. I know it's very boring to see your money kind of go sideways and start to dissipate over time. But you got to realize when people were buying Caspa down here and other projects that look like this was once a very, very small chart until it no longer was, right? This chart looks big now, but then you realize, wow, like the type of price action you guys will see over the next couple months in 2026 will really, really shock your mind. I am telling you, it will really, really shock your mind. But yeah, listen, call me crazy, right? But this is literally the investor's mindset. This is literally the institutional mindset. This is how they look at cryptos that they just are willing to accumulate for some time. And that's why, when things start really, really, really pumping, they make a lot of money. They don't sweat at all. And it's usually the people that are very, very emotional that buy when there's hype, buy at the tops, are the ones that lose money because they make the same mistakes over and over, being too emotional, being too zoomed in, not looking at what the project actually is, and just getting overwhelmed with everything else. That is ultimately it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you guys think. I love you guys so, so much. Make sure to have a little bit of that longer term mentality. I'm not telling you to have a longer term mentality for 10 years, but even just this cycle alone, like I said, $1, 50 should be more than realistic. So do not sweat, even if your portfolio is down. Just go about your day, continue to dollar cost average if you want to, of course. And that is ultimately it. Love you guys so much. I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.